Politico magazine, MSNBC, Washington Post, they all reported at least 250 Republican delegates are organizing a coordinated effort to recall and block Trump as their presidential nominee at the convention next month. The Free the Delegates group wants a new rule that will let delegates vote for the candidate they really want instead of the one their party is locked to. Now let's get with our political expert right now, Keisha Carter Brown with Razor Solutions Group in Atlanta to weigh in on more of this conversation. Good morning, Keisha.
Good morning.
So is this anti-Trump movement going to have enough steam? Is it really going to happen in Cleveland, or is it just some kind of fluff that they're doing?
It's got some steam, but it probably won't happen. I'm sure there'll be a lot of back deals made that probably will keep this off the floor and off national television. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in Cleveland, but with Trump winning 35 of 50 states, it would take 305 delegates to come out and be anti-Trump or vote for another candidate. So it would be very difficult to pull off, even if they do really have 250 delegates that could possibly go another way.
Let's talk about briefly, too, what's going on with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. We know a lot of folks think by now Bernie Sanders would have just, thrown in the towel and said, okay, we're going to back Hillary in this effort because she clearly has the support to be the party nominee. Why hasn't Bernie done that yet?
Well, I think it goes back to Bernie wanting to lead a revolution. And I think that as long as he's going to continue to have money flow in, and he still does have quite a bit of money left on hand, he can continue to lead whatever revolution that he wants to. And he doesn't have to concede. I mean, look, Bernie is almost 80 years old. This is his last big song. I don't think that we'll see him too active in another 8 years. So I think it's important for him personally that this movement that he really has been working on since he came into Congress be something that he can carry out. So Bernie has said that he's going to help defeat Donald Trump. I would expect him to see him on the stump with Hillary here soon. But, he's going to continue to lead his own revolution.
Well, let's talk about now what's happening in Washington. House Democrats finally ended their dramatic sit-in. We're talking about, 25 hours on the House floor. The bold move was an urgent call for action for more gun laws. They were demanding the Republicans vote on legislation to expand background checks to all commercial sales. House Speaker and Republican Paul Ryan called it a publicity stunt. Do you think that was a publicity stunt on behalf of the Democrats, or do you think they were really trying to make change? And Keisha, the other part of the question is, will this do anything? Will they make any progress?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to call it a publicity stunt. I mean, a sit-in is a serious thing, especially when you have Representative John Lewis leading that sit-in process. I think they did bring a lot of attention to it. Probably the publicity stunt really was Paul Ryan adjourning the House 2 days early and then turning off the lights and the cameras. So I think that was probably the bigger stunt of it all. And I think what it did do is bring attention to the issue. But I think at the end of the day, it goes back to these districts that a lot of these members of Congress represent, and they're in districts that don't want to see any type of gun control, even though it may make sense. I mean, Rolling Stone put out an article here recently about 7 things easier to buy than an assault weapon. Harder to buy than an assault weapon. So I think the American public is definitely ready for it, but it's really going to depend on these individual districts and these members of Congress, really coming out and saying it's time to move on. It's time to make some changes.
All right, Keisha Carter Brown, Razor Solutions Group in Atlanta. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Right now, let's send things over to Hillary Kennedy.